What's up guys, Jack here, and I thought I would show you guys how I'm doing my recording stuff in the new apartment. Now, because space is currently limited right now as I don't have everything put away and everything all set up yet, I've been focusing more on stuff that's filmed here at my desk, where I can have kind of a setup that just kind of exists and is always set up, pretty easy to run, pretty easy to operate, limited editing. It really just helps to save me time. Now I'm going to get back to doing my regular style of videos pretty soon. It's just for right now, this is kind of what I'm having to do. But I figured, hey, I could show you guys what it's like. So yeah, let's just take a look at how I'm currently running MTS. Okay, so starting things off, let's take a look at the physical setup itself. Now, physically, I have my main center monitor, my SM7B mic here, my camera, and then an auxiliary monitor here that is pretty much all of my recording stuff. So yeah, it basically just kind of looks like this. Camera, and then monitor, and up here we have a windowed feed from OBS, so that way it's really close to my camera, so that way when I'm looking into this, I can still kind of check and see which source is active, so that way if I'm talking to the camera like this, I'm not showing my desktop, and then when I go to my desktop view, well, then it flips the camera, puts it down in the corner, and normally I just hide this when I'm recording, but it is set to be on top of everything, so no matter what else I'm doing, this is always going to be here. And then I'm doing some processing in OBS, but we'll talk about that in a moment. I'm controlling the whole thing running Companion on my Stream Deck, and let's just take a look at the profile that I have set up for this guy. So the profile in Companion is pretty simple. I have two main pages that I use, and this is the main page for when I'm recording in 1440p. My main monitor is 1440p, so whenever I'm, recording this, I record in 1440p, and then if I'm recording stuff that's 1080p, whether it be an output from a different computer or something like that, I switch over and run things in 1080p. And that becomes really easy when I have the second page here. So this says OBS 1440 right here, and this is just a labeling button, and all my buttons down here stay the same. But then you go over to this page, and then it's OBS 1080, and you press the Setup OBS button, and it switches my profiles for me, my profile and my scene collection, so that way it resizes all of my scenes and all that stuff, so makes things pretty easy. Now let's take a look at some more of the little intricate things. The first thing that I have is, if we come back to page 2, I have cam on and cam off. So my camera is being powered through the wall power, so I have a dummy battery and all that stuff set up. And then I have it plugged into a smart plug, one of the Casa plugs that I normally use for controlling lights and stuff. I'm just using to turn on and off the camera, so I can just turn it on and off from the Stream Deck without having to reach up and mess with it. And going along with that, I'm using the EOS utility application. I just have a USB cable plugged into the camera, so I can come in here and I can control all of my camera settings over USB. So if I want to change the ISO, I can, oh, look, I'm really bright now. Yeah. And then I can bring it back down here to my regular 800. And I don't have to touch the camera, which is really nice. So yeah, that's just the EOS utility application here. And then Companion running on the Stream Deck. And then I also have these two buttons here, which control my overhead lights. So I'm running Casa smart light switches. So makes things pretty simple. But one of the nice things that you get when you're editing stuff and doing a lot of work in post is the ability to fine-tune your video and your audio. So I have a processing chain set up in Adobe Audition that I run my mic through whenever I'm doing stuff. I have different presets depending on, like, if I shoot the entire video on a lav mic, I have a preset for that. If I shoot the entire video running the SM7B, I have a preset for that. AT2020 preset, blah, 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 blah. It's really just the videos where it's iPhone footage that I have to go in there and manually do a whole bunch of stuff for every clip because, auto stuff pretty much sucks. So to save time on my processing on both video and audio, I'm doing that inside of OBS. So let's take a look at that real quick. Starting things off here in OBS with my webcam, well, I'm just applying a LUT at about 50%, and that's just a Kodak killer LUT. This one's actually from Peter McKinnon. Normally I build a LUT for whatever space I'm in, but I just grabbed this one, threw it on there, and hey, it works. So I just haven't gotten around to building a custom LUT for this space yet because I don't have all the lighting finalized. So yeah, pretty simple. The audio is where things get really fun, though. So for audio, I'm doing pretty much all of my processing that I would normally do inside of Audition, inside of OBS directly. Now, there are some things that I had to do differently. So OBS doesn't really have any good audio plugins by default. It's got a decent limiter and a decent compressor, but it doesn't really have any form of like really good noise removal or really good EQ stuff, so I'm running some different plugins for that. So I figured we could just talk about each plugin as we get to it. So first off, we have EQ. I'm not using this gain plugin, so I'm just going to get rid of it. We start off with Re-EQ. This is from Reaper. They make all their plugins available for free, so this is just a VST plugin, and I'm pretty much mirroring my EQ that I would normally have in Audition. The only thing I'm doing differently is my low pass filter is set a little bit less aggressive here in OBS because for some reason this Reaper plugin doesn't really behave the same way as the Audition one does. I don't know. An EQ should be an EQ, but as soon as you get into like the graphic EQs like this or parametric, whatever you want to call this, it gets a little bit odd. But yeah, no, so we're hitting it through EQ, and this is just all I'm doing. Here are all of my band settings. And then we come into noise removal, and this is an Isotope plugin. This is one of their Isotope RX basic plugins, but yeah. So this is running adaptive noise, reduction. So if I squeak my chair, you can kind of hear it, I'm guessing. I don't know, I can't hear the audio, but you can probably hear it a little bit. But without it, yeah, you can hear it all. And this is just really nice for, squeaky chair, handling noise of the microphone, parents watching TV, dog barking in the background, raining out, whatever. This pretty much gets rid of it most of the way. And then we move on to compressor. So I'm using the Re-compressor from, again, Reaper. And so this is basically just a direct mirror of the preset and stuff that I use in Audition. So all the bands are set the same. Yeah. It works. And then limiter, just a basic limiter, limiting at 2.7. I can actually get rid of this. We're going to remove that. Yes. Because I added it back in with here. So then we just run a basic compressor. All this is doing is literally just making sure that I don't clip before I hit any sort of additional gain. But then this additional gain comes in and does some really fun stuff. So this is one of my favorite types of plugins to use, and generally I do that using the hard limiter plugin in Adobe Premiere. So what this is doing is it's adding additional gain to my microphone or additional digital gain, but it won't do it if the audio passes -3 decibels. So yeah, that makes things really nice. So I can say, yeah, add all the gain you want up to 12 decibels, so long as the audio does not surpass -3. So that way it keeps me sounding louder. I'm not having to, bring up each clip volume in post, gets my volume most of the way there, and make sure I don't go over. So yeah, this is a really cool plugin. Super basic, super simple, but I don't know why this is not a default plugin in literally like every editor ever. Yeah, no, this is great. And yeah, that's basically my entire plugin chain. Honestly, this compressor is kind of redundant, but it's not doing any harm, so whatever. And yeah, that's basically how I do all of my videos now. And yeah, I have this webcam here. This is my Brio. So somebody asked in the comment section, is this guy wearing pink lipstick? And it's like, I mean, it kind of looks like it now because I have a bright white text background. I mean, I'm literally just having Notepad open, using it as a light. But so cameras work in a weird way. Your eyes work different to the way a camera works. So to your eyes, as things get brighter, they get less saturated. Your eyes have more cones that are susceptible to brightness that then start overriding color. So your brain is more susceptible to light. Cameras work the opposite way. As things get brighter, they get more saturated. So as soon as you blast a bunch of light on something, the camera picks it up as a brighter color. So whatever pigmentation is running in my lips, well, yeah, it's just going to get accentuated. I don't wear lipstick, by the way. I wear chapstick that is like Burt's Bees or whatever, so... But yeah, this guy is really bad with reds. So I figured... hey, let's take a look at the color difference between these two cameras. So I'm just going to hold this guy up here. And this is my main camera, and this is the Brio. So Brio's got a much wider field of view, but yeah, this is where you get the, hey, Jack has pink lips, and then the main camera. So yeah. We don't really use the Brio much anymore, except for when I want to show you guys things like, oh, the fact that I can press these buttons and go into different scenes, the fact that this says OBS 1440, the fact that my mic arm is on a different piece of furniture than my desk because, well, my mic arm is really long and starts smacking into my monitors on my desk. So yeah, this scene here, this input 4 with mic capture labeled here. Basically, this is just the scene that I use for as a dummy scene to add extra stuff in. So anything that's not really just like my desktop or my face cam here. In this case, I just run the Brio through it. So yeah, that's pretty much all of what I'm doing. All of the intro stuff, the whoosh transitions, the outro music, anything like that. That all still happens in editing, and even this video is going to be edited. So it doesn't get rid of the editing stage, but it helps cut down on it dramatically and also helps reduce my footprint for filming. So I don't have to have a big tripod on the floor, a separate desk for filming because my desk has, monitors right in the way of my face. So this whole thing really just compacts my setup and makes it much more practical for apartment living. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you did. Bye.